Just about sideways, as was the case with the Indian equity markets yesterday as well, as we kick off and are currently underway with the last US presidential debate. Let's take the conversation forward. We have with us Santosh Rao as well as Alastair Newton as well joining in. Gentlemen, morning. Good to have you both on the show. Alastair, what is it that you're making of the debate so far?
I think, first of all, we've got to give credit to the president, Donald Trump. He's come into this debate pretty well prepared. He's seen and thought about the first debate and changed his approach significantly. I think he's been fairly sharp. I think he's been to the point. He's obviously been a lot calmer. He's played Biden much better this time than he did the first time. So, a good performance by Donald Trump. Joe Biden has been steady, but I can't say that I feel he's been particularly incisive. I think he's not landed that many blows on Donald Trump. He's had one or two good lines, but let's keep in mind what the crunch of the issue is here. If the polls are correct, all Biden has to do is walk away from this debate without losing any ground. So I think overall, from where we are right now, I would say that Biden has done enough to sustain his poll lead and that Trump probably has not done enough to turn this election round.
Santosh Rao, are you also as impressed by Trump's performance as Alastair puts it?
Yeah, I think Trump had to really hold himself, act presidential, and just not interrupt like he did the first time. And I think he did a good job. The whole issue about this whole election has been about enthusiasm. I think Trump brings a lot of enthusiasm. Biden is always low key. And like Alastair said, all Biden had to do was just show that he's a normal guy, he's steady, and he did that. But I think Trump had more to lose here, and I think he made good ground. Let's see, it's the final home stretch now. There are a few independents, a small percentage. They're all both talking to them now. Most of the people have decided who they want to vote. So I think that those independents will decide what's the election to some extent. Polls, I don't believe in polls. Clinton led the polls also at this time. So in the key states, battleground states, I think it's a pretty tight race. So I wouldn't just say Biden is ahead. They're pretty neck to neck. So let's see. I think Trump did a good job, made good progress here, held his own, and showed that he can be presidential if he wants to.
Definitely saw a little bit of that in this particular face-off, Santosh. But tell me from a market standpoint, because this debate didn't really get into anything to do with the economy or trade relations, foreign policy, for example. In fact, most of the back and forth till now has been on the more contentious or riveting issues for the moment, whether it be the vaccine, whether it be the elections, and of course Hunter Biden and so forth. So is this then giving us any kind of signal as to really, what either of them would prioritize should they be elected into power when it comes to markets and the economy?
In short, no. I think the way you addressed your question was absolutely correct. We've been looking at a debate We've been looking at an exchange of perspectives. It's not been so much of a debate on a range of issues. Do I believe that Donald Trump's points about Hunter Biden, whether they are accurate or not, are going to impact on financial markets? No. Do I believe that Joe Biden's points on race, on which I thought he did quite well, actually, which is important because he does need to get the African-American vote out in significant numbers. There's not a lot of enthusiasm among African-Americans for him, really. There's enthusiasm among African-Americans against Trump, which is a different thing. No, it's not going to move markets. Where markets appear to be today, let's look at the US bond market as a good indicator, is there appears to be more and more market anticipation of a blue wave. If markets conclude from this debate that Biden has not lost any ground, I think that's where we're likely to see markets continuing to be. So I don't expect to see a market reaction from this debate at all right now. I think markets will basically stay pat and see what happens over the course of the next couple of weeks through to election day. And of course, and let's remember this, what happens in the immediate aftermath of the election, because we still are living in a world where Donald Trump is not conceding that he will concede defeat if it turns out that he's lost the election. And that's where the problem lies for markets. They don't know what's going to happen after the 3rd of November if Joe Biden appears to be the winner.
I think Trump will concede if he loses, and he said that. I mean, all this will go on. There'll be some back and forth, of course, and I think by December we'll pretty much get a clear shot. We'll know who it is. I think it really comes down to what will happen after the elections. I think the market has to decide, do you want new taxes? Biden has said he's going to raise taxes, corporate taxes and personal taxes. So on the rich, he says anything above 400,000, but by some analysis, it's going to hit everyone at some stage. So I think it's going to really come down to that. So if a voter goes there and he has to decide, does he want his taxes to go up or go down or stay the same? So that's where the debate is going to be. That's where the market has to decide if there is any good indication about vaccine, and if the stimulus bill passes, I think that's a plus point for Trump and going into before the election. So that'll help him, help the market as well. So let's see, where a lot of moving parts at this point. The polls are saying Biden at this point, but I think it's still too close to call. They both have a good shot at it now.